So I guess we're live streaming too. I forgot to uncheck that.
Oh my gosh.
It's all good.
I'm not going to pick my nose nearly as much now.
Well, we start things off a little differently nowadays than we used to. Instead of, hey guys, welcome back to Fatherhood Unscripted. It's Alec and DJ. What are you guys doing recently or nowadays that make you happy?
Oh.
Good question. Devon, you can go first.
He said, well, I think.
Yeah. I'm a stay-at-home parent for 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and 3-year-old. So we're about to enter into summer. Like school ends next Friday. Mm-hmm. So I'm about to, like, my workload kind of triples and stuff, but it's a really sweet time to be able to spend with my kids at home. Next 2 months or 2.5 months will be every single day talking to them, communicating with them. Be like, all right, we got a day. What do we want to do today? We got there's a lot of really good public pools out here. So like, hey, we got the splash pass to these 4 different pools. We can go to the zoo. We can go here. It's like, my kids are old enough that I can be like, hey, here's the upcoming week. What do we want to do? Just plan out all the days. And they'll actually like communicate it with me. Where like, whenever you try to do it with a 3-year-old, you decide and you just see what happens. And then you hope for the best.
They may like it. They may love it.
Yeah. And that might also be within an hour of the visit that they love the first part, hate the second part, and then go back to loving it. So yeah, about to go into summer mode with all 3 kids and just, trying to figure out to enjoy the city. It's the first really full summer we've done out here in Denver. And, we're not moving. We're not living in a rental place. It's actually our space in our house. So it'd be really fun to see what the next, ask me in August, I might feel differently, but at least right now I've got positive, optimistic energy going into it.
Is August the hot months for you?
No, that means I've been with 3 kids at home being a primary parent mostly for about 2.5 months.
Because I also know you don't like the hot.
I do not. It is currently out here right now. It's 60 degrees and no humidity. So yeah, no. The summers out here were one of the main reasons we wanted to move out here because it's just, I hate sweating so much.
Look at that, yeah.
So much. So, Justin, was that a long enough answer for you to think
that
yours?
was a long enough answer. But no, the first one that came to my mind was just starting the dad walk at the Murfreesboro location. So we started a dad walk up in Nashville when me and Devon were both living up there. When Devon moved, for some odd reason, I was like, well, I need to move now. But I didn't move across country like Devon. We moved just south to like a outskirts suburb of Nashville. And it was about a half an hour drive just to get up to where the Nashville dad walk was. And that was just too much, especially for like that basically take up half of our day once we got there and everything like that. So I started doing it or reaching out to people about a dad walk in Murfreesboro. We've done it a couple of times and it's been fun. We had some of the Nashville dads come down last week, which was cool. So, and it's hopefully we'll get a good camaraderie and good fellowship out of it, just like we did at the Nashville one, because we have created some good friendships out of that. And it was with like people that knew nobody. It was like me and Devon were the only ones that knew each other. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's I'm excited about.
Awesome. You guys have always been really good at that, like community building. That's something like we've had not difficulty with, but just because we've always been separated with the podcast, that we haven't done necessarily. We're doing it now, which is cool. Things are starting to build up, and we got some things cooking for the next couple of weeks, actually. But yeah, you guys have always been really good at that community building and just outreach stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, it helped a lot that we would, whenever we both lived in Nashville, we would record in person. So like, you sit down with someone for an hour or two and have a conversation. And then they're like, oh, do you guys do anything around town? And you're like, oh yeah, we do dad walks. And like a local TV station, Nashville, had us on and talked about the podcast. And then of course, that was a natural way to talk about the dad walks as well. Yeah. So yeah, I think how much of us was like going in person places, meeting with people. Then you naturally like, oh, by the way, we're trying to figure out dad community in town. Here's what we do for it. Then people are like, oh, it's good to hang out with you. Oh, cool. So you're probably going to attract other dads that are good to hang out with too. Where are you guys meeting up at? And then just naturally follow along with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been great. I mean, the Nashville Dad one we started in, what, 2021?
I mean, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Or
and
22. Sorry, it would have been 22
was it
because
22?
both of our kids were born in
Oh, that's right.
21.
That's right.
So
That's
yeah,
right. So it was like
timelines.
yeah, it was the spring of 2022,
Yeah.
and like I have built a great friendship with one of our friends, Doug, who was also on the podcast, and like I don't know if any of your kids go to a daycare, but it's really awkward to start a conversation with other dads at the daycare. Like, but uh, Doug and his son went to the same daycare as my little girl, and we would talk and just about basically like weather and nothing really important or vital in a conversation. And I told him one day that we had a podcast for dads and that we did dad walks. And he was like, Justin, what the heck, man? We've been talking for a year now and you didn't tell me about about this. He's like, I've been looking for that for since we had our kid. And so just having the courage and being vulnerable enough to speak about it in public could help other people, help other dads. So just if that's a little pointer if you for you guys on building community, just talk about it. Don't be shy or ashamed or timid.
Yeah.
Because dads will probably be like, oh dude, hell yeah, I want to be a part of that.
It's like they know they want it, but they don't say anything until they hear it. Like, oh yeah, it's there. Okay, yeah. I want that. But
it's like when you look at your kids and it's around dinner time and you're like, are you hungry? And like, I'm not hungry at all. Then you put the food in front of them and they devour it like in 5 seconds. And you're like, I knew you were hungry.
But what community type stuff are you guys starting to work on?
Because we're separated, like we're involved in churches and stuff. So I'm going to be part of leading like a men's group. And then we are starting I guess we could announce it. We're going to start recording it. We're starting a new show. I guess it's not a show. It's part of Fatherhood Unscripted. It's called Father Like the Father, and it's more biblically faith-based for dads. And it's going to be a mini. Okay. It's going to be one-on-one. So me and DJ, or me or DJ, and it'll be twice a week. So that, and then we're starting lives. So we're going to start doing some lives with people. So yeah, fun stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool to see, because you're right. You talked like this is what I've been looking for. Like men, they crave community, and they just don't like. Maybe they aren't able to communicate it, or they don't know how to communicate it until you mention it, and you're like, okay, cool, yeah. That's exactly what I need. And it's also cool too when you start sharing your struggles and stuff. How many other dads struggle with those exact same things? You're like, oh yeah, or very similar. You're like, I struggle with that too. And so it's just really cool. So yeah, I guess, like Nike, just do it. Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Just get started. I mean, that's how we started this podcast. We just did it. We didn't know where it was going to go. And then it's been a cool journey. We've learned a lot about fatherhood, more than we thought. We thought we were just going to talk about, our journey, but bringing other people in and learning about their journeys has taught us so much. It's so cool. I don't know if that's the same experience for you guys, but
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. And some great friendships out of the podcast have been, and great experiences. And like the jersey behind Devon's right now, he got that when we had Joe, the goalkeeper for the Nashville SC, on, and we had him sign Devon's jersey. He got stolen on the journey to Denver, and Joe found out about it and had like the rest of the team sign a jersey and send it to him. So I mean, really
good dude.
Cool.
The thing I was pointing out with that I think is really cool. is that like Joe Willis did that. Yeah, I kind of reached out to him, was like, hey, Jersey got stolen in the car when our car got stolen moving across the country. Your jersey was in there. Like, it meant a lot to me. If you could like send me another one, that'd mean a ton. And it's like, sure, yeah, man, I got you. Just give me an address to send it to. But he didn't tell me that he was passing it around the locker room first before he sent it. And like Nashville SC as an organization didn't reach out to me to be like, this is a great PR piece, you know, because it is. They like Joe literally just did it on his own. Like, was just like, hey man, I'm doing this, I'm sending it. Let's not make it into a bigger thing. Just very much just like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Here you go. And I'm like, oh man, you could have done this for like clout to be like, look how good of a person Joe Willis is. Like the organization could have gotten involved. And like, no, he's like, oh man, I got you. Here you go. Here's the jersey. And then after a year of it sitting in my closet, I was like, I need to frame this. Just doing custom frame jobs are expensive. So,
well, silly Devon was wanting to wear the original.
Yeah, why not?
Job.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good.
I was just
got
like,
a signature
dude,
on it.
It's got an autograph. Don't mess it up.
That's how you show it off, right?
Well, he's not going to get dirty. He said he doesn't like to sweat, so he's not going to get hot.
Exactly.
In it,
Yeah,
so.
like I'm not going to do physical activity in it.
He just wants to see himself in the mirror, and it's all good.
Exactly. Like, look at this. Look what you've done, in the positive way.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah, good.
Oh, I was going to say, for all of our listeners who don't know who you guys are, if you guys are new, because recently we've had a big uptick in people, which is sweet.
Yeah, I saw.
These are the
that,
Nashville dads.
Well, now we're the Imperfect Dads.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we had to rebrand. We had to rebrand because someone moved across the country.
Yeah.
So with the rebrand, how's that going? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I keep cutting you guys off. My bad, guys.
You're good, man. Well, we talk a lot. It's almost like we have a podcast. I would say doing the Imperfect Dads, I feel like switching it from Nashville Dads to Imperfect Dads, like I know in phone calls with people have been like, oh, you guys are the Imperfect Dads? I could have like a residency with you guys. Like I could do probably 10 episodes because I'm so like, I think people seem to relate to the name a lot. And I feel like now whenever we reach out to people to come on, like before I'd have like the qualifier of like, hey, do you want to come on our dad podcast? Yes, we're called the Nashville Dads. No, you don't have to be a Nashville related dad. No, you don't have to know anything about Nashville. By the way, I don't even live in like, I would have all these sentences I felt like I should say whenever most people don't care. Like, you know, like, but I felt a need to justify why our name was the Nashville Dads, even though I didn't live there anymore. So it's a lot better.
And it was just awkward when neither of us lived in Nashville. And we're like, we can't, we I mean, yes, we had our roots. Yeah. We had our roots in Nashville, but it just it didn't feel right.
We had on the guy who was in a band called Augustana, Dan Leyes, if you ever listened to that band back in like the early 2000s. And I was like, oh man, so you're in Nashville area, like where do you live? And he was like, I live here. He's like, where are you guys at? And I was like, Littleton. And he was like, oh, where's that suburb? And I'm like, suburb of Colorado, you know, like, so we find ourselves in those moments of, I always felt like I needed to explain myself a lot of why our name was this, but none of us lived near it. So,
and we tossed back and forth whether or not to keep the Nashville Dads or to find something different. And I mean, I don't know how long it took. It took us months to
9 months. Took us 9 months
to finally nail down a name.
Yeah.
And we had like a running list on our Nashville Dads like
shared note
that
thing
we shared, and like a lot of them were like, we're not sure, and then I think I sent you the Imperfect Dads one, and you were like, oh, I kind of like that one,
and then your wife approved.
Yes,
and
then Haley was just like, I like that as well.
Yeah, and so once we knew the wives weren't going to constantly be like, and then we're like, okay, cool, that works. Let's do it.
Isn't it crazy how much we have to make our wives happy, even though this is our show?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But we do the same thing. We run off ideas off our wives. And how does that sound? I mean, no, tell me. No, I don't want you to hold back. Like,
if I'm gonna look like an idiot, let me know before I go and look like an idiot. You know?
Exactly.
Our wives just tell us after, so it's all good.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I always have like a million other ideas that I feel like this podcast could be, but don't have the mental space and energy for it. Like I would love for us to do themed episodes like, hey, let's talk about anxiety. Let's talk about panic attacks. Let's talk about getting a vasectomy. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. But then I'm like, oh, like we do interviews. Our podcast is just interviews. And that's such a different mindset and shifting of mindset that I'm like, we're still getting to talk to really cool people. People still want to come on. So I'm just going to keep on doing this, but I know there's other room for other topics we could discuss. It just is like such a shift in momentum in my head to actually do it.
Well, something that I was thinking about. First of all, I'm getting a vasectomy this Thursday.
Oh,
so
nice!
Wish me luck.
I'll send you some underwear you should get, because there's some underwear that's very comfortable and very helpful, Justin.
But speaking on that point of having themed, I mean, and you guys could also do this as well. Is like for the vasectomy, have an actual doctor that does vasectomies on, and he can talk either about fatherhood if he is a father, but also about vasectomies and what all that entails. So that was something that we could possibly end up doing for our podcast and for your guys's.
Before you do this procedure, I'd like to ask you, would you like to be on our podcast talking about?
That's how I'm going to vet you.
Just do it on the show. Just have him while it's happening.
Just so you know, Justin, there was a doctor in Nashville, a urologist, who did his own vasectomy. I don't know if you've heard of this guy.
What?
Yeah. I'll have to ask my friend. He waited until, like, he's one of, also, like, if you do your own vasectomy, you brag about it all the time.
I guess so.
So yeah, my friend told me the story. He waited until the office was closed. He numbed himself up. He had a whole story of how he did it. And I was like, that's a fascinating ego.
Right.
Yeah.
to figure out. So
what'd you do last night?
I don't know if you're going to
open.
that one or not.
No, it's somewhere down in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
But Alec and DJ, have you thought about that, or have you done that? I know it's a personal question, but
Oh, it's all good.
I like to hear from others.
I have not. My wife has talked about it, but haven't thought about it yet. DJ's got enough kids; he should do it.
I did think about it at one point, and then I was like, well, like, I know we said we're done, but then what happens if, like, I know there's other ways, like, I don't know. It was my wife and I were like, Jasmine and I were like, well, it's a permanent decision, so let's wait. And so we're a little bit older, and then, when we're at, mid to late 30s, early 40s, like, maybe, okay, cool. Like, I think we're done for sure. Because we had our oldest, I think I told you guys, this was right as they were born, because that would have been 3 years. Oh, yeah. So just, but we had Nate, and then we were like, okay, let's have another, and then it ended up being twins. So then we had 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. So
surprise.
And you're uncertain of the vasectomy,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I know I should be.
Usually twins, you're like, get it to me now.
Well, and they also say once you have twins, the likelihood of having twins again or triplets
Very
or
high.
whatever is high.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know if we want to tempt fate and look at 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That would be your life. 1, then 2, then 3. Yeah,
then
you'd just
3.
be adding on and adding on.
Yep.
Adding on.
And then you're like, well, Jasmine, I'm going to work. See you later.
Yep. Good luck.
I'm 40 now and gonna be 41 this year, so we are not having any more kids. My 7-month-old boy is our last, and we're like, all right, let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But that was one of the questions that the doctor asked was, hey, he actually said I was kind of still young, and I was just like, I'm 40. Like,
what you mean?
40. I think of 40 as being old for having kids, but that's just me.
Well, Justin, you're assuming that you want to raise the kids. You can still go have kids at 40.
Gotcha. Okay, there you go. But yeah, he asked me. He was like, "Are you guys? You're still young. Are you guys completely done? Because if there's any notion of uncertainty," he was like, "Don't do it." And I was just like, "No, I'm good. We're doing this."
Yep.
I can only imagine, like, you're like later in life, like 67. You're like, you know what I should do? Should get a vasectomy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how old?
We have a friend who was married, had a child, had a vasectomy and everything. Their marriage, they got divorced. He met someone new, and he wanted to start a family with her. So then he had the reverse vasectomy, and he did IVF. So like his desire to have those 2 kids with his wife is like, I'm like, you went through so much more than I went to have 3 kids. Like he's always so grateful to be around his kids. Like he has such a joy being around his kids. And I'm like, yeah,
Evan,
yeah. The journey he had to have more kids and all that is just like, you can tell he's very happy that he's a dad again. And that's his life now, you know?
And he is an older dad. He's 51 now, I believe.
Okay.
And his youngest is 2. So he was like 49 when he had had his last. So
I can't imagine like getting up to that age because like, I feel like, I'd be too tired to run around the house. With a 2-year-old. I already know I'm tired as it is with my kids right now. I can only imagine the older I get, how much harder that becomes. So,
it's funny. Speaking of being tired, when my parents came in town yesterday, we went to lunch, and we weren't really talking that much, and it was because I was so daggone tired. And I said, "Guys, were you as tired as I am right now when you had me and my sister?" And they were like, "Yeah,
we get it."
Yep.
It's like, all right, fair enough.
Man, well, I mean, other than vasectomies, what you guys been up to? What in Colorado now? What newfound things have you guys found to do? And was it Murfreesboro and just all the cool things in your guys' new areas?
Yeah, I'll say for Denver suburbs, I feel like we got super lucky because the neighborhood we moved into like a suburb, and everyone who lives around us has kids about the same age, and they all send their kids to we all go to the same public school, so we all ride the bus together. So it was like immediate friendship and immediate community, which like completely changes the vibe of how a move across the country goes. Because you pick up your family, you're hoping this is the right decision, all that good stuff. And so to end up somewhere where like we walk to the bus stop and there's like multiple people with kids who have daughters that are the same age as our daughters, and they all want to play, and like they can walk across the street and play with friends and stuff. It's just like, oh, this is so different. I'm so glad that I feel very lucky that we have the house that we have, because it came with like an instant community and instant like everything, which cool. You can't plan on that. You can't plan on if like you'll like your you can't plan it if you like your kid's friends' parents.
Yeah.
That's just, you cross your fingers and they're like, hey, you're gonna hang out with this kid a lot. I hope their dad's cool. Like, because I'm gonna have to talk to him a lot. So that's been, as we explore Denver, greater Denver area in Colorado, it feels very lucky that our home base seems very like shored up and very, very good.
Yeah. And Devon and I lived in the same neighborhood back in Nashville, and we had that very similar kind of vibe where we knew a ton of our neighbors, and when we would do pancake breakfast, we would do chili cook-offs and all that jazz. So from going from that to where Devon is now, it seems like an easier transition, and not much difference. Just newer people.
Yeah. Well, also, we had the oldest kids in our neighborhood. So that felt different in Nashville. Whereas here, we're almost like younger. And so like, that's also nice because, and also everyone out here seems to have more daughters, where like in our street in Nashville, it was mostly boys. So like a 7-year-old boy plays different than a 7-year-old girl. It's just reality. Yeah. So little bit easier connections there.
Yeah. And Murfreesboro, we love it. We live in like the downtown area, so they've got like all these historic houses, a main street, and like a square that's like the courthouse is the middle of the square, and then there's just a whole bunch of restaurants and shops and everything that are close by. Cool. They do the farmers market there, so we love the vibe that's going on. Like my parents and my wife and kids are actually walking down to the square for the farmers market right now. But because we're in like the downtown Murfreesboro area, it's a lot older, like people that live in there. We did look out. One of our neighbor who is directly to the left of us has a kid, a girl the same age as our girl, and a boy around the same age as our boy. So worked out perfect for that. But the majority of the people that live around us are an older generation.
That could be a good thing too. So it'd be nice and quiet,
Yeah. It's definitely a lot quieter than the our old neighborhood.
Yeah.
We had a lot of drag racers and
I
craziness
live right off of
happening.
Main Street. Every morning we have this guy who rides a motorcycle, and it's the worst thing. It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning every morning.
No.
Oh, well, that's my alarm for the day. Okay, I'm getting up.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. DJ's
Yeah.
not very close to any road, so he's pretty quiet back in the nook where he's at.
Actually, no. This road that I'm actually looking at right now, I'm pointing at, this road, people fly down, even though it's like so there's
Residential.
houses on that road. Yeah, they will do like 45, 50 down this road.
Oh,
And I'm like,
geez.
there's kids that come out of these houses. Like, guys, slow down. Like, well, I don't understand. Yeah. Blue Diamond, which is a main road, is just literally one street over. Race down that road.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 55 on that road anyways. So doing 65, people do it anyways. So just go ahead, go race on that one. But
Yeah.
to race on this little road, it's not even that big of a road either.
Yeah.
Like if you do 45, 50, you're already at the end of the road.
Yeah.
You get a hard stop. It's like, I don't know what we're doing here, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a front porch, DJ?
a front porch? No.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a little
speaking
courtyard
of my
area.
incident.
No, I'm just saying that, like, DJ, I'm assuming DJ's gonna be sitting on his front porch, be like, there are kids here. You know, like, you have to do it from your front porch.
I'll sit on my balcony right here.
Yeah. Hey, I might not be able to get down there fast enough to make you stop, but you need to stop.
I'm taking my shoe off and chucking it out their car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was that person. I mean, we lived in the same neighborhood, but Devon kind of lived on a quieter road.
Yeah.
Mine was at the intersection of basically the two main roads to get you in and out of the neighborhood. And man, they would drag race down that sucker. And we had a huge front porch, so we were always on the front porch.
Yeah.
And I would be like, slow down.
More kids are here.
And a lot of times I would tell my wife, I was like, man, I just need to get some nails. And if anybody comes, I just throw the nails out and pop their tires. She was like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
They would never know.
Or get like a strip like the police and just
Yeah, there you go.
Toss it out. Yeah, because the car just stops. It doesn't totally flip or anything like that into your house. No, the momentum stops in the car immediately.
But yeah, speaking of like people flying, so one of the streets dead ends right where our house is, or doesn't dead end, but it tees off. And we had a drunk driver. He had to have been going like 50 miles per hour because we have a drainage ditch in our front that separates basically our front yard from the street. He cleared that drainage ditch, went into our front yard and skid and hit our front tree and was literally like this close to hitting our front porch.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, for him to clear that, he had to have been going that fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were inside in the living room and we just heard a big old crash and she's like, oh no, somebody got in a wreck at the intersection. Go out and check. So I open up the door and I'm like, holy smokes, there's a car in our front yard.
Yeah.
She's like,
not
what
you want to see. Not what you want to see. No.
And the dude was so drunk. He was just like, guys, I'm so sorry, man. Let me just try to get it out of here and everything will be good. And I'm like, no, dude, you're in my front yard. I'm calling the cops.
Yeah.
You obviously inebriated.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
that's
we can just
scary.
be chill, you know. Let me just
no
pull my car out.
insurance, man.
Let me just pull my car out. You know, I won't make you do it. I'll just do it. Yeah, we'll be fine. You know?
We'll be fine. Can I use your driveway because I can't get up the ditch?
Just, if you don't mind, you know, can you just move your car real quick so I can just
Yeah.
Well, even when I told him no, he still got in the car and tried to start it and drive off, but it wouldn't turn over.
Yeah.
So luckily the police came and took him away and then just towed the car. But man, it was like,
it wouldn't start. He's like, can I borrow your car? Just, just to get home. You know,
I just need to get out of here.
Do you have jumper cables? That's awesome.
Offer him some water or something. Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah. Be hospitable.
Yeah. No, that's what
that
he
is one
Can
thing
I
here.
cook you dinner?
Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
So you need to sober up. Here's some bread.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, go take a shower real quick, bud.
You'll
Okay.
be fine, man.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
It's my favorite shirt.
The police are on their way. You know, just shower up, clean up a little bit, so you smell good for them, and then
you'll be good. Yeah.
You'll be good. Yeah. No, that is one thing in Vegas that we have to always be on the lookout for, especially if we drive later at night or really early in the morning. People are always driving drunk out here.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's like it's not, people don't even bat an eye like, oh yeah, I'll drive. I've had, 6 drinks. No worries. Like, no, stop.
No.
Don't get in that car.
Please
But
stop.
it's like, it's a normal thing. Yeah. It's insane. There's so
You guys
many
have
stories and stuff.
Ubers and Lyfts out there?
We definitely do.
We have self-driving.
People just don't
Ubers.
use it.
Yeah, you have self-driving Ubers. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that'd be so crazy.
It's fun.
To Nashville does not
Just-
have that yet.
Imagine the confusion of being inebriated and doing an Uber and accidentally choosing the self-driving one and getting in and being like, "Where's the? This isn't the."
Start
Someone's
freaking
supposed
out.
to. Yeah, like.
Am I supposed to drive?
Or
I was
like
trying to avoid driving.
or you're somebody who's high and you get into a
Oh, dude, yeah, no, the amount of
this is a
hilarity.
trip. Oh, dude, is somebody driving his car?
Someone's
no,
driving.
man, no.
This is
Not
DJ
berries.
Stone. He's never been stoned in his life.
Yeah. This is DJ's interpretation of a stone person.
Yeah.
Scene.
I'm never doing this again.
The eyes are gonna
I
pop
just
out
have
of
to
your
be
head.
Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoinks!
Yeah.
Come on, Scoops.
Scooby snacks.
Always hungry. This guy
Makes
was
sense.
definitely high. His dog was talking to him, so
And everyone else. They were all microdosing.
yeah, it just the stuff you miss as a kid.
Oh,
You're like
yeah.
as an adult, you're like, this is definitely not appropriate.
No.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know how. Yeah, it's crazy.
Daphne and
say-
Fred sure are spending a lot of time alone together.
You want to go down to the dark dungeon by ourselves? We'll just team up again.
I'll be fine. Yep.
That wasn't a ghost you heard. Oh
Man.
well, you guys have a lot of musician guests on there, and I know
We
Devin,
do.
you play a lot of music. You're always playing your little keyboard.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
the
I have
Taylor in the background. Yeah.
My Taylor. No, I have a Martin. It's not here right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But my bass is right here.
Nice.
Yep. Any cool guests coming up?
I mean, cool to me because I'm a
They're
nerd.
all cool.
They're all cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever listened to Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit at all.
It
But-
sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's like Americana. Has a lot of songs about masculinity, being a dad, and anxiety. We've now I've done calls with 3 of their touring members, which is really freaking cool. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up our guest list. I actually got to meet up with a couple of them whenever they were in Denver, or meet up with one of them, which was really cool. Let's see.
I think every single time that those guests came on, something ended up happening to where I wasn't able to
Yes.
get
Really?
on because yeah.
Well, a lot of them are touring musicians, so they're like, "Hey, I got Thursday at 2 p.m. and then I can't do a call for 3 months." And I'm like, "Hey, Justin, I'm scheduling this, man."
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So, let's
And
see.
sometimes I'm able to get on those, but other times it's chaos at work.
well,
It's
you had
always chaos at
you had
work.
that one where I was like, "Hey, man, calls at 2, just reminding you that it's happening," and then you sent me a picture, and it was one of your landscaping crews, your lawnmower in it had flipped over and ripped open the trailer or something like that. What had happened?
Yeah, so they were going straight on and through an intersection, and this old lady, for some odd reason, T-boned, was turning left and T-boned them, not at the end of the trailer, not at the beginning of the car. It was smack dab right in the middle of between the truck and the trailer. So the trailer flipped. We had
Gosh.
mowers in it, and one of the mowers just opened up that trailer, the side of the trailer, like it was a can of beans.
Wow.
Luckily nobody was hurt, but yeah, I had to
I think
be
you
there with
texted
the
me.
police, and
You text me 11 a.m. and you sent me a picture of the trailer torn in half with the lawnmower on the side, and you're like, "I don't think I can make the call today."
yeah,
It's an okay reason.
yeah. We have 140 people. We have 30 trucks out at all times. So with 140 people, there's always chaos, some type of drama.
Yep. But then
This-
we'll get the guests who are like, I can do a call, but I can only do 2 p.m. on a Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, Justin, here's when I'm scheduling it. And then you'll like, I'm going to do everything within my power and what I can control to be on that call. And then stuff like that happens. And you're like, never mind, not going to be on it. And I'm like, sounds good, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the latest one, and it wasn't for a podcast, it was for my therapy session.
Oh, yeah.
On Thursday, I'm at a golf tournament, and then I'm supposed to be at my therapy session at like 2:00. 1:00 rolls around, and I get a phone call. Hey, the police stopped one of our trucks, saying that it's over the weight limit. And there was nothing in the back of the truck, nothing in the trailer. They were fishing, trying to probably find illegals, because that's what's going on here in Tennessee now.
Yep.
And he held us for almost an hour. And I was just like, dude, come on, man. Like, it shouldn't take this long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing? You trying to like check immigration on my guys?
Yeah.
And finally, because I was like, I've got to go to my therapy. Like, so I emailed him really fast and said, hey, I might be late. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I was only like 5 minutes late, but still, it's like those type of things always stress me the crap out.
I mean,
you didn't have anything to talk to your therapist about, and then you had this.
Yeah.
And you're like, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Justin, how did you react to that stress? Whenever you can control nothing, how did you feel, Justin?
Oh man, I was so when they called me and I said, let me talk to the officer, because I was like, this is BS.
Mm-hmm.
I was ripping into him so much. I was so furious. I was like, come on, man. This is like, you would have to pull over every landscape truck, every construction truck, if you're going to go by this. Like, you pulled him over because you're checking to make
sure. You're profiling.
Yeah. I was like, just let him go.
Yeah.
And he was like, nope. And he kept on stating, he was just like, section 13567 says, and I was like, that's just such bull BS, man. Such BS.
Yeah.
And the reason why I go to therapy is because of my anger management. And when things aren't as peaceful or as calm as I'd like them to be, I just like flip a hinge and go into rage mode. But I suggest don't do that with a cop.
Well, as long as you're on the phone, they can't find you, right?
Yeah.
I was a lot more cordial when I had to go there and meet him in person, but yeah.
It's kind of like when you have those big old barking dogs and they're behind a fence, they're barking their heads off. You open the fence, and like, I didn't say nothing.
Never mind.
Yep. Those are my dogs, basically.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, we've been saying we've just been swamped with people. This year has been. I don't know if you guys know who Sean Finnegan is. Was it Sean Finnegan that's who started the ball?
I think so, because then it was the Dad Bods and Beards.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sean Finnegan just introduced a bunch of people into the podcast.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we just asked him, we're like, hey, who do you know that we should know?
Yeah.
And he's like,
absolutely.
have you guys heard of the Dad Bods and Beards? We're like, we had just like started, we discovered them, we were listening to their podcast, looking at their content. We're like, yeah, we do. I think we even just got talking about like, it'd be cool if we had them as guests on our podcast.
Yeah.
And then I just asked him, like, he's like, I'm on the board for their podcast. Like,
oh, really?
I help fund. Yeah. I was like,
cool.
Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, can you make a warm introduction?
Yeah.
Sure. So then he put us all in a group chat.
That's cool.
The rest is history. We had both of them on. And then from there, it's actually kind of funny. So they're in Utah.
Oh, gosh.
And so from that point, from Sean Finnegan on, almost all of our guests have been in Utah, because we asked them, who do you know that we should know?
No, we
And
totally get that, man.
Same,
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's been cool to, oh, okay, what part of Utah are you from? We just assume now, you know?
Yeah.
But from that point, we just keep asking every guest after, like, who do you know that we should know?
Yep.
And it's just, the ball has been rolling. And I think we've had this year one episode where it was just Alec and I.
Yeah.
And it's just been guest after guest after guest after guest. So it's been really cool.
That is cool. Yeah. No, that's how we end most of ours also. And like, depending on the level of the guest, like we had on Nate Bargatze's dad, Stephen Bargatze. Like, we didn't end his phone call with like, hey man, by the way, what other dads do you know? It was just like, hey, Stephen, this was really cool to be able to talk to you for a little bit. Hope you have a good day. But like, for the most part, yeah, we end almost every call being like, and also just so you know, like, best way for us to get guests, do you know any other dads who you think would like this experience, would like to come on and tell their story? And almost everyone's like, oh, I got like 3. Let me tell you. And I'm like, cool, I'll follow up with you in text or email, and we'll go from there. So, but yeah,
that's why a lot of them are musicians.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Like, hey, I've got a bandmate that.
Yeah. I was sitting on the tour bus.
Yeah,
sitting on the tour bus talking about your show. And this guy was like, I'd come on. And I was like, yeah, have him, like, give me his phone number. I'll have him on. So, but you do look up and you're like, oh man, we've had half of this, like of this church, we've had half of this men's group on our podcast now. Why? Well, we had one of them on and they keep on inviting other people on. So,
yeah. And what's really cool is if you like going out in public and talking to another dad and that, or another person and talking about the podcast, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've heard about you guys."
Yeah, that's a cool moment.
Like when we were for a birthday party for Ricky, who's the one of the band members of the Wild Feathers. He's friends with a whole bunch of different band members. One of them being the lead guitarist for Sturgill Simpson,
bass player for Sturgill Simpson.
Bass player, sorry.
Yeah.
And Kevin.
Yep.
And we were talking, and I was talking about how I do a podcast called The National Dads, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I've heard about you." I can't remember who. Margot Price's
Jeremy
husband,
Ivey. Yeah.
Jeremy Ivey. He's like, Jeremy Ivey talked about it to me one time, and I was like, "Well, dude, you should come on sometime." But he was not a dad at the time. But it was really cool to just not know this person and him acknowledge that he has heard about the podcast. So,
absolutely. No, like that's what Will Johnson for Jason Isabel's band was like. Hey, we're on the tour bus talking about your podcast because I had just done an episode. Chad said he wants to come on. Like, we should just invite you on the bus so you can record an episode there. And I'm like, that's not a sentiment I thought anyone would ever say about a little podcast I started with my friend. And that's very encouraging. And just, whenever people find out that you do this, then they're like, oh man, that sounds like a great idea. How do I get to be a part of it? When people want to come alongside you for something you're building, you're like, oh, this must be something then. Because it's very easy to not join in on something.
Devin, if they do and then end up inviting you, I will meet you guys wherever that is.
Have you ever been on a tour bus, Justin?
I have not.
I've been on one ever, and it was like, this is freaking cool. So, yes.
Whose tour bus was it?
Margot Price's, when Jeremy was in town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Got to hang out with him.
Yeah. Super nice dude.
That's cool.
You guys have a holy grail guest? Do you guys just like, I want that person?
I do. I would love to have anyone who's played on the U.S. men's national soccer team, such as Walker Zimmerman, would be fantastic. Tried to get him on a lot, had a couple of connections, didn't pan out to anything yet. And Jason Isbell would be super sweet, but also like his interviews are with like, the New York Times, Rolling Stones, like he's like doing Fresh Air with Terry Gross, so I'm like, as far as totem poles, we're pretty low. And I have a long list of very obscure independent artists and musicians who I would love to have on that I feel like would make me very happy. But I don't, as far as like expanding people's ability to connect with the podcast, I'm not sure if it would do that. So
just have them on.
I'm trying, Justin. So
I will, for a lot of the musician guests, when they start talking about music and notes and even the production side of things, I know zip about that kind of stuff. I know about landscape and Kentucky basketball. That's my gist. So I'm usually just sitting there along for the ride while they're talking and geeking out about music and stuff.
Just talk about
you had the one. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. That you are correct. That is a band. Thank you. You want to talk about the early 2000s Lawrence, Kansas music scene with people for like 3 hours, Justin?
Yeah, of course.
Or Omaha, Nebraska, in like probably like 1998 to like 2005 or so. You don't want to? No,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's fine. You're not. Yeah, that's. I've gotten better with my elitism and smugness as I've gotten older to not lead with it. It just comes out sometimes. So yeah.
But my guess that I would love to have on, and we've tried many of times, is Nate Bargatze.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
But that's how we got in touch with Steven, his
dad.
His dad. I had been like, I reached out to him on his Instagram, his personal Instagram, but then also Nate has the Nate Lane podcast like group. So I reached out to them. They actually got back to me and said, "Hey, if you want to try to, you can reach out to him through his manager, I guess, or agent, which happens to be his sister."
Yep.
And his sister also manages Stephen Bargatze, is the father. And for a while, she'd say, "Well, let me see what we can do. He's kind of busy these times." And like after the third time, I was just like, "Hey, I totally understand he's busy because he's like pretty huge now."
Yeah, Nate is massive now. Yeah.
And I was like, "But I see that you manage your dad. Would he be interested?" And she immediately responded back saying, "Oh yeah, you'd love to come on."
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But ultimately, I would love to have Nate on. I think he would be a great guest and a funny dude.
Well, like down the road too,
that's
having his dad, having his
you're
dad
good.
on kind of opens that door, you know?
Yeah. I mean, technically, Justin, I do know someone who is one of the comedians on Nateland or used to work with them at a TV station. I just haven't talked to him in 15 years. So I don't know
what the heck, man?
Well, I mean, also like, we didn't know each other that well when we worked at the TV station together. We would like eat lunch in the same room together. So it's one of those like, "Hey, Brian Bates, I know who you are. You might remember who I am. I was a really awkward, scrawny kid working in the city, like."
Do you remember the lanky, tall dude that ate salami sandwiches in the lunchroom?
Always warm up his broccoli and fish in the microwave.
It wasn't until you said salami sandwich. Oh yeah, I definitely remember that guy.
Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah. That's you? Hangs up.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not me. I was the other guy.
No, I was the guy. I was the guy next to him. Who looked exactly like him. So, what about you guys? Yeah. Who's your guys like holy grail of fatherhood guest?
I think we've talked about, but John Cooper of Skillet is one of them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we even tried to get. So we grew up in church, and Christian rock was something that like that was the only thing we were allowed to listen to.
Yep.
So it was a lot of Skillet, a lot of 1,000-Foot Crutch. We tried to get Trevor.
We've actually talked to
1,000-Foot Crutch. Yeah, and it like almost like we were almost there, and then it just went to Ghost Town.
Yep.
It's like, okay,
That
I don't
happens.
know what happened. Yeah, just
well, Devon,
fell off.
I can't remember his name from Jars of Clay.
Oh, which one? Steven?
Soccer Moses.
Yeah. Steve Mason. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I don't know if you listen to Jars of Clay. They're a little bit older band, but we had him on.
That's cool.
So maybe we can get you guys connected with
really cool connection. Yeah,
with him.
Yep. And we've also, or I did a call with. I feel like Nashville's a lot more. Has a lot of deconstructed Christian artists, people who in the 90s were very much that. Like I did a call with Derek Webb, who was in Cayman's Call. All that, he's very much not of the Christian music scene anymore, but his origin is in that. So I feel like Nashville had a lot of people like that who we ended up like knowing. So I'd be intrigued to know what Steven's connections are, because that's more of like former life Steven than current life Steven. Yeah. But I can still ask him. But yeah.
We have a weird connection. I can't say we've been sworn to secrecy. My wife would kill me if I told her people where she works. But she sees Jason Momoa like weekly.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so like my son's like, "You're gonna have Aquaman on your show, Dad."
And you're like, you got to go through some. That's whenever you talk to like a real publicist and a real PR person before.
And they're like, "Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Let me look you up." Yeah, no.
I might have to cut this out. I do have his phone number in my phone.
Do you really? That's cool.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, invite us on if you.
Yeah. We're available for that episode. Just so you know.
Well,
I'm sure our wives would love to see.
Not even an accident will prevent Justin from coming.
Justin's in the therapy session. Like, I screamed at my daughter today. So, Jason, whenever you're on the set of Minecraft.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's we've talked about a couple guys. we do like you guys do, just reach out on Instagram and try to
what's
find
up.
if you never know who's going to say yes to you.
Yeah.
And that's been our experience. Like we had one guy out of the UK, Simon Squibb.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever heard of him? He's like, what's your dream?
He wrote
guy?
that book right there. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
But anyways, it was he's really like a huge entrepreneur and has grown a lot. And we just reached out to him randomly and he said, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. And that took a while to get him on.
Yes.
It's like months and months of like figuring out the right day, talking to his assistant, just like, all right, cool. Finally got him on. But yeah, it's been a cool journey. We're not afraid to ask anybody. So that's just,
you never know until you ask.
I always, especially depending on like who the person is, until they sign on to the call, some part of me is like, they're going to forget that the call was today.
Same.
And it's always the one, you can always tell how excited you are to have a guest on whenever some part of you's like, oh, they're going to not, like, it's like, well, the call's at 1 and then it's like 1:01 and they haven't signed on yet. And they're like, they forgot, they don't care. Like you start to go down these like negative
we've only had
self-talk.
like 1 or 2, I think that.
Yeah, it's pretty rare for whenever we did it in person. It seemed more likely because it was more of an adventure, to have someone leave their house and everything. But yeah, someone helping on a phone call for like 45 minutes or an hour. It doesn't seem like the cancellations are as likely.
Yeah,
that's and I actually talked about that recently, like sweating when they're not on right away. You're like, there's so many guests that will show up 5-10 minutes late. You're like, I don't understand why people are not I know they're busy too, but like as punctual. Like you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. But that's the same thing. We've had that. Like,
you're sitting there and you're like,
they're gonna come on.
At 1:10 I'll text them. At 1:15 I'll email it.
Well, I feel like a lot of the musicians are kind of like that, and if you think about like their concerts and stuff, they're always delayed. They're always late, and it's mainly because of that.
Until you figure out, Justin, you just got to figure out what the timing schedule is, because there is a schedule for everything, and trust me, once you figure out the language of it, then it all makes sense.
Ah, okay.
Yep. Don't worry. It's not. You don't need to know it. This is all just like someone who needs friends and hobbies learns it. So
he's like, let me figure this out.
Okay.
He has like a whiteboard just writing something.
No, I do. Yeah. Okay. Doors are at 7. Something's open or gone at 8. Okay. What's the level of this opener? They'll probably play a 45-minute set, and then they give about 30 minutes afterwards before the main band goes on. So I expect them to go on about 8:15, 8:20 or so is what I would expect. Yeah. So that's all. It's fine.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Get all that in my head,
Yeah. It's fine.
That makes
mindsets.
That makes total sense
to someone,
right?
There's
that one listener like, yep, I get you.
There's the one person who also spends too much time at concerts still, even though they have kids.
Dude, I wish I can't remember the last concert I went to. I wish we went to more.
I'm a late night person. I have no problem going to a concert by myself. So that's a good majority of it. Is I'll be like, okay, cool. Okay, the band is headlining, so I think they'll go on around 9ish. So if I leave here around 8:15 or so, okay, my wife will probably fall asleep around 9ish or so. So I'll just go and tell, like all of that stuff. I'm like, well, tonight I'll go see a band I like. You'll probably fall asleep at like 9 or so, and it'll work out better for everyone. So it'd be good. So that's part of why I still go to concerts. Is like at like 11 p.m. I'm still awake. I'm like, oh, what's up? What's going on? What's up?
I saw your story. You posted one. Was it yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Go and see some shows at Red Rocks.
Is that cool there? I've seen videos of it. Yeah.
No, I mean, you're literally like cut out in between two mountains watching a show, and the backdrop is just miles and miles of like Denver is off like in the background. It's just like, and like if you ever get to go to a show there and it's a full moon, like the crowd will howl at the moon and stuff. Like it's and like crowds in Denver like dance and move a lot. In Nashville, everyone was so music business focused that they'd all be standing there like, huh, you missed the cue. Like overanalyzing every detail, like some people might do. So yeah, it's a fun experience. It's one of the most unique venues. I will say though, walking up to the venue is a lot more tiring and exhausting. It is a legitimate hike. In which like you're walking up and you're like, am I this out of shape? And you're like, you're not. You're like now 5,000 feet above sea level. Like that's just the reality of oxygen.
And you don't like to sweat, so
well, you don't sweat because it's like 40. It's like 40 degrees out here, so you don't sweat. Humidity is like the only reason I sweat. pretty much.
Gotcha.
And whenever a guest is late to a phone call, tied it in.
Oh, there you go.
And full circle.
Yes, got it. So
that's awesome.
The latest concert that I went to was last week, and it was Pearl Jam.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That one was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and he, for being 60 years old, he can still rock it.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. We went with
actually. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No.
I was like, we just went with Evan, the guy that we had talked about earlier about the IVF, and then one of our other friends, Doug, who I mentioned earlier. He ended up getting tickets, so we just met up with him and his wife and hung out, and then went to the concert together. So it was really cool.
A cool experience. Yeah, I won tickets off the radio station for the Eagles at the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah, that was so the Sphere, if you ever get a chance to come out to Vegas and go to a concert there, oh my gosh, it was just incredible. And then it was the Eagles too. So
yes.
Yeah.
But it was really cool experience. But we are right at time.
Yeah.
So we like to always end our podcast episodes with asking, what is one piece of advice you can give a new dad, a dad in the thick of it, an older dad? What's that one piece of advice you can give them?
Justin, I have mine ready. Do you have yours ready?
I do, but you can go ahead. That's fine.
I run my mouth a lot, so I'm always ready with an answer. I think the one thing I usually tell dads is that if they're about to be a new dad, is like, hey, you're about to be in a lot of positions in which you're going to try your best and it's not going to hit the mark. You're going to do everything you can to come for your child. Your kid's going to still scream in your face. And what you need to do is not let that destroy you. Need to know that you're still worth loving, you're still good, and you've still got this. Because this entire journey is going to challenge your ego and challenge you in ways you didn't know you were going to be challenged. And instead of going like, I'm a piece of crap, I'm not made for this or something like that, know that you are. And it's just one of the first times you've cared about something so deeply, and your actions don't always lead to the results that you thought they would. So just know that whenever you're in those moments and like nothing seems to be working, nothing is going well, you're still good and you've still got this. But you need to have a friend to talk to and to admit that like, hey, I feel like I'm messing everything up, because you aren't. You really aren't. But it will feel like it in the moment that you are useless. You're not useless. You just how you are useful is being redefined, and you need to. And it's a journey to figure that out.
Good. Devon is my friend for that. When
like, dude, you got this. You're good. Trust me. You're good.
Always texting him or calling him and saying, "Hey, man, I feel like a complete failure." And he's like,
just
"No, dude, don't."
Get more in tune with what your intentions are. Your intentions are that you love this child deeply. Your actions aren't lining up with your intentions at this moment, because you can't control how someone you can't control how a newborn perceives your love. It's just it doesn't matter. So just know you're going to be in an exhausting time for a while, and you're going to be okay. Just be in tune with your intentions and modify your actions, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. For my piece of advice, I listened to a little video from Dude Dad. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, and I wrote it down in my journal, so I'm going to basically just read it verbatim, but because it really stuck with me. But he said his wife asked, "Don't you wish you could go back and live one more day with your kids from 5 years ago? Like when they were toddlers, they weren't speaking back to you and everything like that." And he said, "Of course, but I also know in another 5 years, I'll wish I could go back to right now." Yeah. And he said, and he quoted, "Whenever you're struggling with your kids, think about yourself 20 years from now and what you wouldn't give to go back to the moment right now and relive it. It's easy to reminisce about the past because we are older and wiser, but the hardest place to be is right now. Yeah. And we as parents need to figure out how to enjoy the right now, because it doesn't always last that long."
Yep.
So good.
And I struggle with that quite a bit. So that was something that's been reminiscing with me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow.
That's powerful. Because you don't think about that, you're just whining about today, and then tomorrow you're like, oh, well, should have did this yesterday because it's too late.
Well, the thing that I always think about with that is the Click the movie, where he fast forwards through his life because like to get to the what he thought was the most important moments of his life, getting a promotion, getting a house or whatever. And his kids grew up like right before his eyes, and he didn't know them. He didn't he wasn't a part of their lives. And that always hit me. Even before I had kids, I was just like, oh crap, I do not want to do that. I don't want to go through life living and like blocking out the experiences and the journey with my kids or even with my wife. So that's something that's always been deep in my heart.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we love you guys. We've loved you guys for a long time. Well,
Yeah.
Also, where can people find you now you guys are Imperfect Dads?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can find, I mean, our Instagram is where we're the most, and that's the Imperfect Dads podcast on Instagram. I've started doing more little fun videos on TikTok of me trying to play like kids music on a piano. And that's where you'll find like a lot of posts of our clips. Yeah, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple. I did just put all of our stuff on YouTube recently. Yeah, mostly I think if you search the Imperfect Dads podcast, that's the best way to find us, connect with us. I usually respond to every message. So yeah, if you're going through anything, send us a message. Always happy to talk, always happy to connect dads. And yeah, that's, I guess, best way to find us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being back on.
Yes, thank you.
2 years later, little excerpt.
And hey, let's continue to do this, man.
Yeah. See you in 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years.
I want to see that
fine.
beard.
That's right. I'm going to grow that beard out. I'll keep looking at set list or concerts coming up to the Sphere because I know I need to see it at some point in time. So if I'm ever in town, DJ, I'll let you know.
Cool. Yeah, definitely do because we'll meet up. Yeah.
So, and if any of you guys are in Denver as well, let me know because I'm around.
There was a talk of us all coming to Colorado. So
nice.
Oh, cool.
I'll be here. So just let me know.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Well, everyone listen. We love you guys.
Yeah, love you too.
Love you too, brother.
See you guys next one.
Cool. See you next time.
All right. See you.
Bye. Thanks, guys.